Hi guys, well despite my interest in weapons, my acute interest in weapons, I know nothing about making them. So this is my first attempt just for fun, just because I happened to come across this great looking piece of driftwood. Technically it wasn't driftwood because we were in North Texas, but hiking with my family, we found this, and it was just the right size for my little son, and then I said, it's too short for me to be a walking stick, but that makes it a perfect size shillelagh. So this is outside of my area of expertise, but being interested in saps and blackjacks, these come up quite a bit, so I want to get more into them. And for now, just for fun, like I said, the information and the item itself. So a shillelagh is a traditional Irish fighting stick. It's not a traditional walking stick, it's a traditional fighting stick. And it goes back to tribal times, and it's a cudgel. And you'd carry it around and use it, and that type of fighting lasted a really long time in Irish history. The classic Irish fighting stick is made out of blackthorn, and of course I want to buy a proper one day for sure, maybe soon. But, this is just a random piece of wood here. But they would carry them around, and they eventually got outlawed, and that's when it kind of transitioned to a pseudo-walking stick, ready to fight with it type stick. So I have not read this book yet because it's not within the bounds of my study for my book, but I will definitely get around to it if you're interested in the subject. It's been recommended to me more than once, so shillelagh, the Irish fighting stick, pretty easy to find. And this is the kind of thing that would happen in the old days. I don't know if you saw, but that guy had one lying on the ground. It obviously didn't do him as much good as he hoped because he's laying down vanquished under this guy here. And this is how many dust-ups got settled in Ireland for just absolutely centuries. It's a tradition that was kind of carried over by Irish-American policemen in the United States, and to this day some will carry actual, Irish shillelaghs in parades and that kind of thing, New York, Boston, that kind of place. So pretty neat. It's got a, deep cultural connection, right? It's as Irish as it gets. It's kind of the Irish weapon. They come in various shapes and sizes, but the classic, and here's an assortment actually made in Ireland. The kind of classic is, too short to be a cane, like just a little too short to be a cane, and that's why you see in old pictures guys just walking them. You just carry it. It's not actually supporting you on a walk. But nowadays they have various lengths and that kind of thing. One of the more interesting ones has almost a sledgehammer type head. You can see some there over on the right of the picture. So now on to my very humble version. I decided to make a loaded one. Obviously, I got it. I sanded it, that kind of thing. And I said, well, you know what I could do? It'd be kind of fun is go ahead and load it. And I'm not going to load it with lead because I don't know how to work with molten lead. I'm not even going to mess with that. But so what I did was I created a channel in the epicenter of the striking head. And what I liked about this stick when I found it, made me think of shillelaghs, is it's swelled up towards the head. So it gives you that top heavy balance, which is traditional, right? It's not like a Neton bow or something like that. It's perfectly symmetrical. So I don't own a lot of power tools and stuff. I just painstakingly carved that channel, and that long. This is the screwdriver on the outside. It's an extra long screwdriver, and it was basically my chisel. And I chiseled out a channel and then widened it, dead center, top of the striking head, and then loaded it up, and totally just for fun, right? So not a very good method of construction, but what I did was I took BBs, because I had a lot of BBs laying around from just making soft saps. So I poured them in there with glue, and it was pretty gratifying to do that after all the work it took to carve this sucker. So this is something that was quite common, not just with a shillelagh, but any kind of a wooden club, baton basically. You load it up, usually with lead, up towards the top, and you've got extra oomph, right? Without a doubt. It's a denser material, so of course it weighs more, and it adds to the top-heavy balance of it. You can see I wasn't joking about it being an extra long screwdriver, because this picture's getting kind of boring. I'm going to move on, and we still haven't scrolled up at the auto scroll right to the top. So here's the head looking down. I love this old gnarled wood. It's just great. So once I finally got that there, then I was ready to go. And then you add the load. So you can't tell, but they actually don't come out, even when I swing the weapon, which you'll see coming up here as I play around with it a little bit on video. So just taking part in a centuries-long tradition. Now, if you use filling like this, like the BBs I did, you're going to have extra space. There's a lot of space in between there, even though it doesn't seem like it. So you're not packing in anywhere near as much metal as if you use actual, if you melt it and pour it in. So that's what they would do most of the time. I actually like the complementary colors, though. I think it looks pretty cool. So it's no point making a weapon if you're not going to play around with it, right? So here we go, and this will give you a good idea. See, there's the length. And I think that's fairly typical. So you could use it as a walking stick, really like to lean on. You'd see people doing that in old pictures, but onto the fighting. Slide that top hand down, right, from whatever direction. I'm going to increase my power. Pop with the bottom end. You use the whole weapon here, and that's something you might not think of. And of course, you could baseball bat it. But that should be, in my opinion, more of a finishing technique because you're fully committing and losing your versatility, your recoverability. So, again, using the entire weapon, so block north, south, right, east, and west. You want to use the middle too. You can block down, strike to your legs, up towards the head. And it's just a fun weapon to play with. And here's my favorite weapon strike of all, right? You just snap it forward. We made a big deal of that in Kobudo that I'm trained in. Bam! It's like a snake just striking out, and that's going to catch somebody by surprise. And lastly, there's twirling, which I'm terrible at, but you do want to be able to handle it just a little bit like that. There's the forearm instead of the wrist. And there is a practical implication. You're not guaranteed to keep a good grip during a fight. So if you lose your hold and it's kind of automatically or accidentally wrapping around your arm like that, you want to be able to recover instead of just watching it clatter on the ground and being all of a sudden weaponless. And that is my poor man's version of this fascinating piece of Irish fighting history. Thanks.